We are joined now in our final half hour by Charlie Kirk, president of Turning Point USA. And after Charlie, we have the president's daughter-in-law, the lovely Laura Trump. Charlie, thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks so much. Glad to be here. Appreciate it.
So I hear you have a new book coming out.
I do. Thank you. Yeah, it's called MAGA Doctrine, MAGA Doctrine, which essentially it's only ideas that will win the future. And it's a fun book. I really enjoyed writing it. It kind of explains the Trump movement and the philosophical movement behind this presidency and what is driving this president and the tens of millions of supporters of the president to continue to fight so hard. And I make the argument that President Trump is defending a set of ideas that are thousands of years old about renewal of a civilization that's in managed decline, borders, sovereignty, and revitalizing essentially a culture that some thought would never go back to greatness. And so I make the argument in the book that our country can achieve excellence again. It is already, thanks to President Trump.
He made America great again.
Yeah, no doubt. There's still a lot of work left to do, but what he has done, I think, has offered us a playbook for the next 100 years for people in my generation to learn from and to incorporate in the Republican Party so that we can continue to be successful politically and culturally for the next century.
So this obviously sounds like a must-read. Why don't you explain to our listeners here in Virginia, especially I know that you have Turning Point USA campuses that are engaged, like we had Jerry Falwell Jr. on, your friend. Explain what Turning Point is, how young people who are listening can get involved and get engaged, and then a couple more questions for you.
Sure. So at Turning Point, we're the nation's largest conservative student organization. We're on 2,000 high school and college campuses across the country, fighting for free markets and limited government, the Constitution. We had 5,000 students attend our end-of-the-year conference where the president spoke at the end of last year, which we were super thrilled about, from all 50 states represented. So look, we're playing offense with a sense of urgency to win America's culture war, and we believe that the left has made far too many gains and too many victories in our country, especially on college campuses, without being countered, and our organization stands to reverse a lot of the cultural damage that the left has done to our country.
So I have two questions on that front. One, do you see, as you go to college and high school campuses across the country, what Democrat seems to be resonating with those youths? Is it Bernie Sanders? Is it Elizabeth Warren? Is it Michael Bloomberg? Just kidding. Who is it that is resonating on these campuses?
Yeah, I mean, it would be Bernie Sanders and Trump. Those are the two, and Trump has a lot more followers on campus than the media would ever lead you to believe. I mean, I've seen some of these, fake Republicans try to message to college campuses, and students couldn't care less. Yet it's the candidate that the media told us would not excite anyone, or that we would lose at a landslide, that actually gets the younger people more excited than the others, and that's Donald Trump. And it's Bernie, of course, on the other side. I mean, it's really easy to be generous with other people's money. If you don't understand economics, don't understand history, don't understand philosophy, and you're being misinformed by an overly compensated, hyper-privileged, Marxist, anti-American professor class, then yeah, Bernie Sanders sounds great. Everything he stands for is about destruction. He wants to destroy our country. He wants to destroy our culture. He is a leftist, not a liberal. Big difference. And he's also a Marxist. And so
you've always taken it to people like that. I mean, you've taken it to Silicon Valley. You've taken it to people with the military-industrial complex. You've taken it to these swamp creatures that are just pervasive across D.C. I mean, you have been a prosecutor of the liberal left, right? And is that what you would say the MAGA doctrine is really going to be, a supplementary piece of it? Do you explain how the liberal left has gotten to where it is now?
No doubt. So what the MAGA doctrine also is the president expanding outside of just passing bills and policy, that's a good idea, and fighting in the seven mountains of cultural influence. And out of the seven mountains of cultural influence, some of which that we ignored so long as conservatives, are media and essentially social media. It's unbelievable to me how Republicans and conservatives do not counter and punch back twice as hard against the fake news media. And they do whatever they possibly can. I mean, you just saw on the last day, so disgusting, a report that comes out that says that allegedly Russia wants Trump elected. We don't know any nuance. Look, Russia's a country of 140 million people, right? So that could be one person in one place that wants that, right?
Yep.
And the chattering class of prognosticators and pundits and media elites, they go on and on and on, and they say, this is a bombshell, this is unbelievable. Not once do they say that President Trump armed the rebels in Ukraine with deadly weaponry. We just went through that whole impeachment hysteria. We should know that. Not once did they say that President Trump applied more sanctions on Russia than President Obama. Not once did they say that President Trump expelled Russian diplomats from America. Instead, it's, here we go again. They are so dishonest. And President Trump challenges them. He challenges them forcibly, aggressively, and assertively. And part of the MAGA doctrine is fighting on every front in our eroded culture against the corrosive left.
Well, I think it's what you're writing about is a powerful reminder of, one, how he got here, but then how much will be left for the generation to come, and whoever runs in 2024, whether that's Mike Pence, maybe Don Jr. Will you be 35 by 2024?
Okay,
so the time
I'll
after
be 30, so nothing's happening.
So. But no, that this is critically important. Now, one, how can people buy the book? And then two, how can people sign up for Turning Point?
Well, thank you for asking. You type in MAGA Doctrine to your search engine, or Amazon, MAGA Doctrine. We're going to try to make a bestseller and really make the New York Times have a bad day, so we'd love any support you guys can get, and I think everyone would enjoy the book. And then if you want to get involved with Turning Point USA, it's tpusa.com. That's tpusa.com. Fighting for liberty, for freedom, for American exceptionalism, conservative values on campuses where kids are not always hearing that message.
Well, I think this is all really important. Charlie, I want to thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Appreciate it very much.